I loved that episode. I loved it as in I was in it. But then I kept thinking, what would we call this? And then my mind drifted just into you and Tom Brady's genes. And I'd like to call this one the one in which Tom Brady gets his periods.
I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. But you know what? It reminded me when you said that, and I didn't say it in the show, but I remember when I was about 16, I was going out with this girl and we both worked in a supermarket and she had white jeans on. And this is the first time I learned the white jean dilemma. And she had her period in the supermarket. And I remember one of the girls in the supermarket went up and told her and said, look, you need to know that when you're... We have a bleed on aisle 5.
See, you guys don't get it, but any woman,
clean up.
that saves a woman from that kind of embarrassment, humiliation. Okay, so these are the things. These are the golden rules. Okay. Loo roll on the shoe as you come out of the toilet in a corporate kind of environment. Yeah. You got to save that chick. Obviously, period on your butt cheek. Yeah. Something stuck to your butt or the age-old skirt and knicker saga. Now, none of these, thankfully, have happened to me, but I've had a friend who had the most divine white dress on and it was all slinky dinky and there was a little bit of it. And I was just like, we're moving. Your cardigan, you're going to put the cardigan around. It's going to be part of the look. We're moving. And she was like, what's wrong? I was like, just going to keep pivoting. It's really hard and something you will never get with
I know I don't. And I feel left out. I don't have a period story.
Same parents, different timelines, and united by chaos. Strap on, strap in. For the not-so-Christian brothers.
When you know you're heading down towards that moment, do you not choose fashion wisely before you go out?
What a male perspective.
No, I know, but I'm just thinking, you know you're going to have your period. Why do you choose...
That's not only a male,
and
it's a boomer. It's a boomer.
Don't leave the house.
Why do you choose white? No, be serious. Be honest.
Why not still be?
If I go down in the rain, I'm going to wear a hat.
Yeah, but first of all, it doesn't always fall on the same day.
Thank you,
right?
Justin.
But there is that period.
And secondly,
time.
And secondly, like a lot of women are incredibly infrequent. So women might only have a period every 3 months or every 6 months. They don't necessarily. It's a myth to think that it's 28 days like a ticking clock.
Oh my god, I have a new podcast, The Cycle, with Justin Godfrey, in which he doesn't go cycling. By the way, it's not a sports one. He just talks about periods.
I have so many conversations about periods in my work life. You wouldn't believe.
I wanted to talk about that episode because I just thought it was so fun. I loved it. But can I say something? You guys were so... I did... Like when you laughed and physically laughed where your tummies laughed at the prospect of me being attractive, it was quite upsetting. Like, someone said something about the most attractive woman in the world and someone goes, Rebecca. It was actually so sad.
That's nervous.
I don't know, but there was a few tears. Yeah. But I kind of loved when Colm got into the weeds and was like, the physical attractive, he was like, but it can also be really damning and really hard when we were talking about is being attractive, actually really good for prospects and trajectory of career and life. And Colm was a bit like, actually, it can be really hard for some people.
It happened that I'm listening to another podcast at the moment called Hollywoodland, which is...
It's so excellent.
It is so good. So each week they delve into a particular character. I've just finished the one with Richard Pryor. Man alive, what that guy went through. But he set himself on fire. But the 2 episodes previous was one about... Well, they did 2... Part 1 and Part 2 about Marilyn Monroe because there was just so much to fit in. And this guy's point was also, how is the most attractive, most beautiful woman in the world passed around like a drink, like a bottle at a drinks party? Because and I think it was when you get to the pinnacle of being the most attractive woman in the world, when a guy gets Marilyn Monroe, that's it.
But is it not that it's fragments? Isn't it great that, okay, you are aesthetically okay, you're good, you're looking good, or you can be presentable, or you can put your best foot forward when, what do they say, scrubbed up well. But you also have a personality, but you're also bright, but you're also engaging, but you're also caretaking. Yeah. And then you think about people who are what I would consider all-rounders, right? And maybe this sounds really pedestrian, but a Mal Clooney, super bright, super glam, seems really care. I don't know if it's just such a superficial, because I do know very attractive people, and if that's all you're leveraging your life on, it's like peaking too soon in school, someone who's just uber hot and uber... But then it's like, well, what else do you have when you go out into the world?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But also, like, I think in the context of, say, Marilyn Monroe or Pamela Anderson, right? you have these super attractive women, but their backstories are really traumatic, right?
God, yeah.
So they've been through, trauma, like in Pamela Anderson's case, she was sexually abused at 4, she was raped at 12. So the passing around, as you put it,
Marilyn Monroe was gang raped
exactly.
in her foster home. Yeah.
So the consequences of this trauma mean that they become dislodged. What actually starts to happen is that you believe that your primary caregivers can be screwed up individuals.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't think it's reflective of being the most beautiful woman being passed around. I think it's reflective of how you are in this world. Like I listened to Giselle, back to Tom Brady, who's Tom Brady's ex-wife, being interviewed on Rich Roll's podcast a few months back. And she's like super attractive woman, but like very level-headed. And she just decided, because Tom Brady was obsessive, and that Birmingham City thing just really plays this out, was obsessive about sport. And she just said, I've enough of this shit. Like, if you're not going to retire and you're going back to it, you're putting your sport ahead of our family, I'm out of here. So I think attractive, strong women.
Is that how they broke up?
Yeah.
I think she was.
And
Yeah.
was it as he was going to Birmingham?
Well,
No.
Wasn't there kind of an ultimate? Wasn't he very much like, I'm retiring to be with my kids and wife, and everyone's like, oh, so cute. And then didn't he go back and manage for?
Correct. No. He went back to play.
Sorry.
Wow.
So Brady was a quarterback for the Patriots, and he retired, and he was going to deal with the kids and everything else, and then he went back into family life, but he couldn't cope with it, right? And I see this quite often. It's not unusual. And when he went back in, she said, right, that's it, I'm out of it. And that's actually a phenomenal interview if you want to get behind the scenes.
She's so accomplished as well.
She's so accomplished.
Yeah. She's having a baby.
Yeah.
With a new beau. I kind of love this for her.
Yeah,
And she's so, like, I find strong, attractive women, or just strong women,
attractive.
really attractive.
That's interesting, because just shows that you are comfortable in your skin and you're really smart men, because there are men, if I'm honest, Justin, who I've worked with, who would find strong women really unattractive because they're like, ick, you're shrill, you've got opinions, you're super bright. And you know what? That gets in the way of my agenda. So do you know what? Shush. Whereas you guys are like, no, I really embrace a woman who has I love that. I think that's great. And I have unfortunately grew up with a lot of men who were really not into strong women.
I think, and strong to
like not when I talk too much. Yeah.
No, not that they can beat you in arm wrestling, but strong as in. I think
that's fun too.
I think that's hot. I think
my wife would definitely beat me in an arm.
Yeah,
well, she would.
It's really hot when a woman is better at sport than you.
But no, I think there is if your partner isn't as strong or stronger than you, there's always going to be a struggle.
Yes, you're so right.
Anne is so different to me in so many ways. She's quieter. That's the only difference. No, she's quieter,
but considered and still and smart. Yeah,
but she's still strong. And I mean, that is the thing.
Are you saying that men are threatened? So say you're in a partnership with a man who isn't maybe as successful or making as much. Are you saying men? I don't know how we got onto this, but are you saying there can be a threatened?
I think men. Isn't there always a thing? And I mean, I know years ago, and somebody I was reading recently, and there is this thing that if the woman is making more money than the man in the relationship, that it can be a hindrance. Only to the man.
Why? Because they like you to be a bit cutesy and fragile.
Masculinity is being challenged.
So interesting.
Yeah, I think that's something I was reading. I thought that's really interesting that still exists.
It's completely the case.
Also, the Fox News thing, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to pick up on this because I loved this bit at the top, and it was interesting that you went from that into Fox News. Can I also do this as an observation? You might disagree. I think you both might disagree. So you were talking about blah, blah, blah. But is it also not the cohort of people who are watching? So you were saying it's a great distraction, bring in the hotties, forget that the whole thing is just, propaganda. Is it also not that it's not very highbrow? And sorry to be horrible, but maybe they just feel like hiring in, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like distilling and diluting anything that's said. I mean, I watched the Weinstein thing about what happened in there, and I loved those women who came out and took him on. Sorry, and finally, Ritalin, we were talking about that. And
are we talking about it, or we're just moving through it?
No, I don't know. I just wanted to point that out.
Watching the Grand National.
You want to jump in there?
I need to pee. I need to pee. Does anyone care?
Never hear a Fox News presenter saying, "I need to pee." Now, gases. Things are terrible. Iraq. Oh my God, it's all over the place.
I really struggled. I struggled when I used to newsread. I did newsread.
But I think back to the previous point, which I think is.
And then I want to get on to Ritalin. Wonder how that's connected.
Go on.
Yeah, he's lots of Ritalin. We should actually have Ritalin in here like Smarties.
On top. Stick it in me. Oh my God, take that out.
I think
Take that out.
I think that the interconnection between the men, money, and success, and Fox News and everything is really interesting, because when you have women who make men feel less, those men become angry men, and then they find other men who feel less, and then they create Reddit forums, they create insult forums. Like, this is where all this comes from, right? It's like, we have to realize that we're so primal. Everything goes back to being tribal, right? And go back to tribal times. I said this the other day. Women were having sex with lots of different people. We were polyamorous historically, and men were having sex with as many women as they could. But if you felt like you weren't able to produce, you were ostracized and pushed out. Women were always important because they produced the children. It's only in the last 500 or 600 years that women have been segregated to be second class in many societies. Obviously in the West, in the last 100 years, brought to the fore. So I think anger in men comes from feeling less, unquestionably. And where we have strong women now, today, it gets better. But if you go to the Fox thing, and I worked with an executive in a major media organization, which I won't name.
Is this Colm?
He would name me. He would name me.
I'd name him.
I'm in the room.
Also, the word major and exec, I was like, yeah.
I won't name him, but I'll point.
I would definitely name him, even if it was libelous. But the point that they made to me was that the audience that they'd studied, their demographic, they understood that they were in the predominance over 60 and heavily medicated. So they needed to sexualize content to keep attention.
Oh.
But that's okay.
Should we do that? Do you think? Should we do that with the show?
Just be really blunt and brutal about this. Like when we used to do focus groups with our radio stations, and we'd find out, what was really wrong with the station. And brutally, we had to get rid of people who didn't fit into the brand that we wanted. We had to change things around, sex things up. I'm thinking of the original days of 104 to make sure that the audience grew. And Fox just did that. And we'll have the over 60s guys with the tissues beside the TV, and that's fine because
I just think we just won't get
CNN will deal with the other stuff.
I mean, over 60s guys with tissues to the side. I mean, there's obviously really good Viagra adverts. Have you ever watched Fox News in America? It's just Viagra.
There you go. So that's exactly what I mean.
The guys are going, oh, look at her. This is incredible. And then they're going, oh.
Oh my God.
And then the next ad is like, feeling a bit limp.
Exactly. So it all fits into the brand. All perfect.
Anyway,
can we get sponsored by Viagra?
I think the Ritalin thing, when we were talking about pathologizing, I just think we'll do that for another show. But my goodness, it was like, I thought that was, sorry, there's so much in that there to unpack, but let's do that again. Like the antidepressants, Ritalin, how like Justin was so on point there. Oh my God, Justin, I was just like wanted to scream. I was like, yes, where you were like, look at what we could be missing and the beauty. And you're talking like, you're a very successful, smart man. You're talking about dyslexia. I have so many of those people that I've worked with and around me. And we're talking about ADHD. And by the way, I just want to be really clear about that. We're not kind of poo-pooing. Like we also know people that struggle day to day and the routine needs to be a certain way. And we need,
absolutely.
But just the beauty that can come from our differences and how we kind of lose a lot of that. Anyway, I'm getting emotional. I need to wee.
But everything in life is a choice between, does this, as Steve Redgrave said when they were competing for the Olympics, does this make the boat go faster or not? You choose, right? If you think your ADHD is going to make your boat go slower and then you medicate, that's your choice. But you've got to also explore the fact that maybe it can actually make your boat go faster. Explore all options before you take the drugs.
Should we do a diagnosis day in here?
I think it's also to quote Van Gogh. Do I need both ears to paint better?
What's happening here?
Clearly not.
And that's
he did commit suicide after his ear got chopped off. It wasn't soon after.
I gotta pee.
Two great paintings. Then good luck to you.
Can I just finish? Last point I want to finish on.
Okay.
Tom Brady, right again.
All right.
But Terry, our cameraman and a man behind the scenes here, was setting us up last week, and he said to me, you can't wear shorts when you're in shot, right? He said, like, it's just a thing. You don't be wearing shorts. And I thought, you actually don't really want to be seeing legs from men on
not?
camera. But if you watch the Birmingham City thing, Tom Brady has like short shorts on and spends the whole time with his legs in camera, and it's such a sexualized shot.
Do you think so?
Oh, it's.
Or do you think he's just a sportsman wearing shorts? Lads?
He's super hot, right? You know,
Oh,
even,
no, I
even
don't.
I look at Tom Brady and think,
no, he's so.
wow.
No, can I say something as a girl? Believe it or not, I'm a girl, right?
Well,
He is so aesthetically clean and perfect that it's so unattractive. Like, I find you too, because you're about like, we're playing very attractive. Why? Because you have personalities. You make me laugh. You're very smart.
have you
a
seen me in
vision.
shorts yet? I've
take
got
it
short
back.
shorts.
I take back all that
Yeah.
I have said. I'm just.
Short-
I don't find.
no
I
shorts
find
allowed.
Tom Brady
well,
actually.
that's the name of our new podcast.
Can I
No
say
shorts
something?
allowed.
Can I say something? I find him a bit of a wet blanket.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really honest with you.
find him a bit what?
Tom. What?
Find a bit-
A
what?
wet
A
blanket.
wet blanket. I just don't. I don't know if I want to see his aesthetically perfect legs hanging out of his shorts. There's nothing sexual about that. There's no darkness there or edge. Sorry, that's my
So it's-
perspective.
But I think they were assuming that most of the rest of the audience don't want it. I'm not saying that I want to get it on with Tom Brady, but he
I
is
don't
pretty
know if
hot
men's
in my
legs
mind.
would make you women turned. I just think no. Butt cheek, a butt cheek. Okay.
We nailed that
I
down.
think we've nailed Tom Brady's legs. So we want everyone to
Like, subscribe,
this
and
is
follow.
the after show. We're back on Thursday with a new episode.
Subscribe and follow.
Okay, well done, everyone. Thank you for listening.